Imagine a 19-year-old boy riding a battered little scooter through the rainy streets of Birmingham. On his back was a delivery backpack filled with pizzas from the local pizzeria where he worked evenings. In his pocket was an old phone with a cracked screen, and in his mind, buzzing louder than the engine beneath him, was an idea he couldn't shake off no matter how tired he was after classes and deliveries. He didn't have money, he didn't have connections, he didn't have experience. But he had something far more dangerous, a genuine excitement for something he believed the world was missing. That boy was Ben Francis, a quiet, humble student studying information technology. A teenager who spent more time watching fitness YouTubers and sewing gym clothes in his living room than hanging out or going to parties. Back then, nobody, not even Ben, imagined that he would create one of the fastest growing brands in modern British business. But the seed of that story began in the most ordinary of places. The spare room of his parents' house. Ben trained in a local gym, and something bothered him. Fitness was changing, especially among young people. They didn't want oversized, plain gym shirts anymore. They wanted something modern, well-fitted, stylish. Clothing that matched the new era of social media and fitness influencers. But such clothing simply didn't exist at the time. And that gap sparked a simple thought in his mind. Why don't I make it myself? With his friend Lewis Morgan, he started a tiny website and called it Gymshark. It wasn't a brand, it was barely even a project. Just a logo designed for a few pounds and some basic t-shirts they bought online. But when they couldn't find clothes that looked the way they wanted, they decided to try something totally opposite of what normal students would do. They bought a sewing machine. Night after night, Ben sewed gym clothes by hand. His mother helped him understand patterns. His father helped him reorganize the garage into a makeshift warehouse. Orders were packed in the living room. Customer emails were answered between college classes. It was messy, improvised, unprofessional, but it was real and it was built from pure passion. The turning point came when Ben made the first big gamble of his life. He took almost all the money he had saved from delivering pizzas, around £5,000, and booked a small stall at the Body Power Expo, one of the largest fitness events in the UK. If this failed, he wouldn't have money for new materials. If this failed, he would go back to riding his scooter, hoping to save enough for another attempt. But he believed the risk was worth taking. The first hours at the expo felt devastating. People walked past their booth without paying attention. Nobody knew what Gymshark was. But then something unexpected happened. A few young fitness YouTubers, early influencers, long before influencer culture became mainstream, stopped by, tried on the clothes, and loved them. They liked the fit, they liked the look, and more importantly, they posted pictures and clips wearing Gymshark on Instagram completely free. No sponsorship, no deal, just because they liked it. Ben didn't realize it yet, but this was the moment everything changed. Later that night, after the event, he opened his laptop and refreshed his website. Orders started coming in at a pace he had never seen before, dozens, then hundreds, then so many that the website crashed. They sold out nearly everything. Not in weeks, not in days, but in minutes. Ben stared at the screen, barely believing what he was seeing. Something is happening, he whispered to himself. He didn't know it then, but this was the spark that would ignite Gymshark's global rise. Success, however, came with a price. Ben was still in university, he still had his part-time job, and now he had a business that was growing faster than he could keep up with. At 19, faced with a choice most people never have to make, he decided to drop out of college and give everything he had to Gymshark. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't easy, and for several years it was far from stable. Ben made mistakes, big ones, wrong manufacturers, delayed shipments, angry customers, designs that didn't work. He often said later that he felt like a kid running a company he had no idea how to run. But instead of hiding his inexperience, he embraced it. He made his most important decision to hire people much smarter and more experienced than himself. People who could do what he couldn't. That humility became one of his greatest strengths. Slowly, Gymshark shifted from a chaotic startup to a structured, fast-moving company. Their clothes became a symbol of the new generation of fitness enthusiasts. Their social media strategy was revolutionary for that time. And with every collection, every photo shoot, every influencer partnership, the brand grew stronger. By 2020, Gymshark was valued at over $1 billion. dollars. Ben was only 28 years old. A boy who once delivered pizzas on a scooter to pay for his sewing machine became one of the youngest billionaires in the UK. Not because he was lucky, not because someone handed him a golden opportunity, but because he saw a problem, created a solution, and worked on it every single day, long before anyone else cared. What makes his story so powerful is how ordinary it really is. Ben wasn't a genius. He wasn't born rich. He didn't invent a new technology. He didn't have venture investors until years after Gymshark was already successful. He simply followed a passion with relentless consistency. He improved day after day, learning from every mistake and opportunity. And most importantly, he didn't wait for the perfect moment to start. He started with what he had: a sewing machine, a garage, and a dream. Ben Francis proves that success doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require money or connections or confidence. It requires something far simpler, yet far more rare: the courage to begin and the discipline to continue, even when everything seems uncertain. His story reminds us that your breakthrough may not come tomorrow or next week, but it can happen in one unexpected moment, just like it happened for Ben at that fitness expo. The world can change in a single day for anyone who is prepared, persistent, and brave enough to take that first step. And if a 19-year-old boy sewing clothes in his parents' kitchen could build a $1 billion brand, then anyone with a real idea and real work ethic is only one bold decision away from their own turning point.